bloodied man stripped in the streets of Dublin, a scientist battered by teenagers, a 6-year-old girl brutalized in her own neighborhood.
And I'm not feeling safe even at my home. I don't have any words to explain. The only thing I wasn't able to protect my daughter at that time. I am not getting much support. That's what I believe. Yeah.
And do you feel that your nationality was a factor in this incident?
Yeah, I can't. That's the only thing scaring me now. I didn't realize that's my nationality because my girl, she expressed at the night after the incident that I'm in the gang who.
These aren't war zone headlines. They're the lived horrors of Indians in Ireland. In 2025, the Emerald Isle has turned into a nightmare for many in the Indian diaspora, with hate crimes erupting at an alarming pace. Temples are no longer sanctuaries, sidewalks are no longer safe, and childhood is no longer innocent. Behind the postcard-perfect Irish towns lies a darker truth. Indians are being hunted. Why has Ireland, once hailed as friendly and inclusive, become a ground zero for racial terror? Hello and welcome. You're watching Statecraft with me, Geeta Mohan. Throughout 2025, Ireland has witnessed a disturbing spike in hate crimes specifically targeting Indians. These are not isolated events, they form a chilling pattern. From Dublin to Waterford, Indians have been stabbed, punched, stripped and abused, often by teenage gangs emboldened by impunity. Police investigations crawl while the Indian embassy scrambles to calm a terrified community. Protests flare, helplines buzz, and families reconsider their future in what was once a promising land of opportunity. Economic tensions, housing crises, and xenophobic narratives have only added fuel to the fire. But are these attacks just street-level violence or signs of a deeper societal rot? In July 2025, a 40-something Indian man was ambushed in Tallaght, Dublin. A gang of young men brutally assaulted him, punching, kicking, stripping him of his trousers and leaving him bleeding in public. His face, arms and legs were torn open with wounds. The attackers falsely accused him of acting inappropriately around children, a lie weaponized to justify violence. His only saving grace? A woman named Jennifer Murray, an Irish citizen who stepped in when no one else did. My colleague Pranay Upadhyay, in an exclusive conversation with Jennifer, spoke to her about what happened. Listen in.
Recently, a very disturbing report came from Ireland, wherein an Indian national was subjected and became victim of a racial attack. He was beaten by a teenager gang and he was left unattended bleeding. However, he was later attended by a good Samaritan, a lady, Jennifer Murray, and she took him to not only police, she called police, she took him to hospital, and now also she is taking care of this man. I am being joined by Jennifer from Ireland. She is a resident of Tallaght area near Dublin. Welcome to India Today Global, Jennifer. And my first question to you would be, can you walk us through the exact moment you first saw the victim and realized something was wrong? What were your reaction and the people around, and what did you see at that point of time?
So it happened on Saturday evening in a housing estate in Dublin. And actually it's a very nice place where it happened. It's not a lower class place. There's really nice people who live there, and he was set upon by some teenagers who attacked him and stripped him of his clothing. They cut his face, they beat him, they robbed his clothes, they robbed his phone, and they left him. And when I arrived on the scene, more people had gathered, more teenagers had gathered, and were continuing to verbally abuse him, and nobody was helping. There was one lady who was trying to stop the teenagers from further attacking him, but nobody was actually helping the man. He was stood there, he was extremely shell-shocked, he was withdrawn, he was submissive, he was begging for help. Sorry, it's still very hard for me because it was so sad to see anybody, any human being left like this. But from such an attack. So I was driving past in my car and I stopped, and I got out and I came down to see what was happening, and then I took him away from the scene.
This wasn't just a hate crime, it was a message, a warning to every brown-skinned newcomer that they're not welcome. Even more chilling, locals said the same gang had attacked at least 4 other Indians in the past few weeks. That means this wasn't an accident. It was a system, a pattern, a method of terror by teenagers barely old enough to vote. If racists hoped to send a message, they couldn't have picked a worse target than Dr. Santosh Yadav, a man who came to Ireland to contribute. A respected senior data scientist, Yadav was heading home from dinner when 6 teenagers jumped him. His glasses shattered, his body became a punching bag. Head, chest, legs, they kicked him everywhere. The reason? None. The motive? Indian. Dr. Yadav was hospitalized, his cheekbone fractured, but his real wounds were psychological. And yet, where was the Irish outrage? Would this have happened if the victim was a white doctor from Australia or Germany? The attacks haven't been rare, they've been daily. The Indian Council of Ireland receives at least 2 reports every day.
I met with the Lord Mayor of Dublin, Ray McAdam, this morning, and I can confirm that he is taking these incidents extremely seriously. He has sought a meeting with the Garda Commissioner to address the issue at the highest level and will also be reaching out to the Indian ambassador personally to offer reassurance regarding the safety and protection of Indian nationals in Dublin. As a local representative, I am working closely with the affected families, offering support, liaising with Gardaí and ensuring their concerns are taken seriously. I have also spoken to Tanisha Simon Harris, who has condemned these attacks and had raised the matter with the Minister of Justice. And furthermore, I have also called for the urgent strengthening of Ireland's hate crime legislation. It is essential that young offenders understand the gravity of hate-based violence. No one, regardless of age, should be allowed to spread hatred and walk away without consequences. Justice must be served, and I'm in contact with many affected families. I've been speaking to them. The rise of far-right extremism, especially online, is deeply alarming. We cannot allow hatred, misinformation, or imported ideologies to take root in our communities. Ireland is and must remain a place of safety, inclusion, and mutual respect. And Dublin is known around the world as a city of 100,000 welcomes. And what we are witnessing in recent times, the targeted racial attacks on Indian families, does not represent the values of Dublin or of Ireland. And these actions are vile, unacceptable, and entirely out of step with who we are as an Irish society.
Recently, a cabbie was struck with a bottle and insulted in racial terms. These aren't just hate crimes, they're acts of dehumanization. This isn't Dublin anymore. This is dread. What do you call a society where a 6-year-old girl is punched in the face for the color of her skin? Her name is Nia Naveen. She was playing outside her home in Waterford City when a group of boys, aged 12 to 14, descended on her. They called her a dirty Indian, punched her in the face and neck. She was left trembling, traumatized, and terrified in her own front yard. Nia's mother broke down in a television interview.
And I'm not feeling safe even at my home. I don't have any words to explain. The only thing I wasn't able to protect my daughter at that time. I am not getting much support. That's what I believe. Yeah.
And do you feel that your nationality was a factor in this incident?
Yeah, I can't. That's the only thing scaring me now. I didn't realize that's my nationality because my girl, she expressed at the night after the incident that, the gang who punched her, they were telling, go back to India, something like that, dirty Indian, go back. That was so upsetting. Like, I didn't realize I didn't belong here. That's so upsetting. Yeah.
Have you ever had any racial problems yourself? You've been in Ireland for, I think, 8 years. Have you ever had any problems yourself?
What I believe is that there will be good and bad people in and around. I had few incidents, like it's not really upsetting. Like, I'm not a person who always taking things, like that. But this is the first incident that happened to my family. And I know that, I'm not the only person who is, experiencing these kind of things, starting from the Dublin to Waterford. And I think it's not the only single incident here. These things are happening to many individuals. And I have talked to a few of my friends. They have incidents, something like that. And I don't think that the system is supporting us completely.
How is your daughter now?
She's getting better now. She was so emotionally upset. She couldn't sleep. Last night she had bad dreams and she was, wake up and down like that. But I'm trying my best to bring my cheerful girl back. She's always a joyful girl. So I believe I have to give her emotional support because she had a trauma after that incident. She said she don't want to play outside with her friends. She's so scared she will be attacked by other, kids. So I'm trying my best to bring her back. That's what I can do.
The Indian community now lives in fear. People no longer walk alone after sunset. Parents hesitate to send kids to school or parks. Professionals who've spent years building lives in Ireland now whisper about packing up and leaving. Victims recount how attacks are often unprovoked. Racial slurs come first, then the fists. Some attackers even film the beatings and share them on private social media groups for laughs. And the worst part? The police often do nothing. The Gardaí, Ireland's national police force, claims it's investigating the crimes. But talk to the victims and a different picture emerges. No arrests in major cases, no visible patrolling in danger zones, no hate crime training for officers. For the Indian community, the Gardaí's response feels less like law enforcement and more like lip service.
Yes, it has been disappointing, but yes, indeed, it is a deliberate push by far right. We are seeing disturbing rise lately by the far right influence in Ireland. See, these attacks, they do not happen in isolation. They are part of a broader narrative, what I feel is being pushed online and in certain social media circles to demean migrants, including the Indian origin families. Far-right agitators, they are using platforms with little or no moderation to spread hate, misinformation, conspiracy theories. Unfortunately, vulnerable young people, particularly those from under-supervised or disadvantaged backgrounds, are being exposed to this content. They are being radicalized online and influenced by hyper-violent content, sometimes tied to the combat sports like UFC, which is also being misused to glorify dominance and aggression. What we are seeing is a toxic mix of online extremism, misinformation, and misplaced anger, targeting peaceful and hardworking families who have contributed greatly to Irish society.
People ask, how is it possible that with CCTV footage, eyewitnesses, and viral social media clips, the attackers still roam free? Justice delayed is injustice rewarded. And in Ireland today, that reward is being claimed daily by racists. But Indians aren't staying silent. In late July, hundreds marched through Dublin holding banners that read, "Stop racist violence," and "We belong here." Protesters chanted, families held up photos of battered loved ones, and speakers from the Indian community demanded urgent action from authorities. But while Indian voices grew louder, the question remains, is Ireland listening? For years, Ireland was seen as a refuge, a welcoming multicultural democracy with strong ties to India. But behind the smiling tourism ads and corporate offices lies a growing xenophobic undercurrent. It didn't start overnight. Ireland is in the midst of a housing crisis. Rents are sky high, homelessness is rising, and instead of fixing the system, some populist voices began blaming migrants. Social media exploded with anti-immigrant memes and conspiracy theories. Teenagers raised on digital poison have begun acting on it violently. Instead of asking, why are these crimes happening, Ireland must ask, what have we allowed to fester beneath our society? The most disturbing trend, teenage attackers. Almost all major assaults, from the stabbing in Tala to the beating of Dr. Yadav, involve youth aged 13 to 19. Why are children turning into racists? What are they watching? Who's filling their heads with hate? This isn't just a law and order issue. It's a societal sickness, and it needs a deep, painful cure. One that includes education, counseling, and accountability.
Absolutely. The Indian community in Ireland plays a vital role in nearly every sector: healthcare, education, technology, small businesses. Indians are not just migrants, they are our colleagues, neighbors, and friends. Unfortunately, this truth is being drowned by extremist voices online, where platforms like X, formerly known as Twitter, under the ownership of Elon Musk, have become increasingly tolerant of hate speech, conspiracy theories, and far-right propaganda. I mean, accounts spreading anti-immigrant hatred in Ireland including targeted misinformation about Indian origin families, have received likes from Elon Musk's own account. And this is deeply alarming when one of the most influential figures engages with extremist content and it legitimizes hate and emboldens those who seek to divide society. So, I respectfully urge the government of India as well to raise this matter with Elon Musk and seek clarification on why his platform is enabling accounts that actively target the Indian community in Ireland and other countries. We cannot allow hate, especially online, to masquerade as free speech when it has such real-world consequences.
The Indian Embassy in Dublin is now in emergency mode. They've issued advisories telling Indian nationals to avoid deserted areas, stay alert, and report incidents. Emergency helplines are buzzing. Meetings with Irish officials are constant. But diplomats can only do so much. It's Ireland's responsibility to keep residents safe, Indian, Polish, Nigerian, or Irish. So what exactly is Ireland becoming? A country known for hospitality, music, and storytelling is now at a risk of being remembered for silence in the face of racial brutality. The moral cost of these hate crimes is rising. Every unsolved case is a stain on Ireland's soul. Every child beaten, every worker stabbed, every woman harassed is a crack in the country's reputation. But more than reputation, this is about human lives. Mothers, fathers, children living in fear. Will Ireland act before it's too late? Families, tech professionals, students, all weighing options to move to safer countries. Canada, the UK, even back to India. They're tired of being model migrants but still being treated like punching bags. The Indian community in Ireland is tight-knit, resilient, and largely peaceful. But they've hit their limit. You can't ask people to build your economy by day and fear for their lives by night. That's the heart of it. Indians in Ireland don't want revenge. They want peace, dignity, safety, a chance to raise their children without fear, a chance to walk to a temple without being stabbed, a chance to believe that the country they moved to will stand up for them. Ireland is now at a fork in the road. One path leads to healing, reform, education, and solidarity. The other leads to radicalization, silence, and global shame. The choice belongs to Ireland's government, law enforcement, educators, and civil society. But time is ticking, and every moment of inaction is another door closed on a hopeful migrant, another scar carved into a child's memory, another betrayal of Ireland's soul. Will Ireland step up, or will hate win? Thank you for watching Statecraft.